Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything that I know about work permit in Japan. So this is for the people who are already in Japan and who already have been to a language school and learning Japanese language, or been to a university in Japan, and not for people who are in India. So please don't comment and tell me, ask me how do I get a job from India, because I don't know how you get a job from India. Okay, so without wasting time, let me tell you, this video is going to be a very long video because I have to explain a lot of things to you which I have been through. So if you don't have the patience to watch this video, please leave now or watch till the end. So make sure if you stay, you watch till the end to get all the informations that are important. Okay guys, so there are a few important things that can get you a work permit very easily. One of them is to get a work permit, you have to find a company, a job in a company who is willing to give you the papers to get the work permit. So in other words, you have to get a job in a company who is willing to give you the work permit papers to submit to the immigration. That is number one. And also you must have a show, which is the resume. So in order to get that kind of a job, you need a good resume. So 50% would be your resume or show, and the other 50% would be during your interview time. So your Japanese speaking ability must be very, very good. Even if you can't write, but you have to speak well so that you can convince your interviewer to give you a work permit papers. Okay, so these are the three things. And also one thing, if you have a university graduation degree or certificate, then it becomes easier to get a good salary. I have seen this myself. People who are not graduates get very less salary than people who are graduates. So these are the four main things that can decide your work permit. And also there is a process that you have to follow. Of course, you have to work hard to get a work permit, and a work permit does not come easily. That is one of the dreams that you have to achieve. So let's get started on the preparation part. When you come to Japan as a student, you must start preparing then and there how to get a good job in Japan. So first things is you have to start learning how to speak. You have to open your mouth and have lots of conversation with other people so that your Japanese speaking ability improves. You must know how to type Japanese. If you don't know how to type Japanese, you must start practicing now. And as a guidance, you can go ahead and watch my video on how to type Japanese. I have put up a video 2 weeks back. So that is also a very informative video if you want to know more about how to type Japanese from your first year itself. Normally, you won't know how to type Japanese until you reach your towards the end of your second year. But if you want to know that beforehand, do go and watch my video. And also along with Japanese language, if you know business level English language, that is an added advantage for you, because you can use your English as well as Japanese as well as your mother tongue. So these three things are very very much in demand with all the companies that sponsor foreigners for work permit. So these are the things that you must prepare from your very first year of coming to Japan. So start preparing from the beginning. Otherwise, towards the end of the second year, you will be like in a rush, and it will be very difficult to find a good job. Okay, so these are the preparations that you must do. Okay guys, so now you have to start looking for a job at least 3 to 4 months before your visa expires. So if you're already working and you want to change your job, or this company is not giving you the papers for extending your visa and you need another company who can sponsor, you have to start looking at least a minimum of 4 to 3 months before your visa expires or before you graduate. And most of the Japanese students, they start from October and their graduation is next March. So they start looking for their jobs at least 6 months beforehand, and they go to a lot of interviews, but ultimately they think very well, and then they choose one particular company who they think they can continue for a long time. If you have time and you have the wish to get a good job, a decent job that pays you a decent salary on your very first go, then you should start looking beforehand, at least 3 to 4 or 6 months before the visa expires or your graduation is about to happen. So now before going to look for a job, one important thing that you will need is your resume or your Rereiki show. Like I told you, your Rereiki show will decide 50% of your job, and other 50% would be your interview. So why is Rereiki show 50%? Because when you apply to a company, you are sending the Rereiki show out to the company, the resume to the company, and the company HR doesn't know you personally. Maybe they knows in some cases, but normally they don't know you personally. So they look at your resume and then they read everything, your educational qualification, your personal details, your job experience, your skills, etc., etc., and then they make an image of you. So once they make an image of you, they try to fit that image into their company. If it fits, they will take you. If it does not fit, they will not take you. So in order to crack that first step, you have to have a very impressive resume. So if you don't know how to write an impressive resume, I'm not telling you that I'm an expert in this field, but I have a little bit of idea of how to write a resume. So please, I will make another video for that, on how to write a resume and what are the informations that you must write in your resume. But the point is, your resume is sent first before you go and meet the HR of any company. So first you have to give your resume, and they have to have a good image about you, a very professional image that you have to frame through your resume, and then they will call you for the interview, and then you go in the interview, and then you try to convince them with your speaking ability. Okay, so next is finding a job. So in order to find a job, I have been to many Japanese consultancies, and then I have given up on all of them, and I have narrowed down to just one place where I can guarantee that you will get a job, a decent job and a good job, and that is Hello Work. Many students, I'm sure, must have gone to Hello Work, and they have gone for the first day, and their day was wasted just by registering in Hello Work, and ultimately they didn't get any job, so they're frustrated and they think Hello Work is useless. But trust me, almost all Japanese companies trust Hello Work because it is the government institution. But say for example, you went from Hello Work and there's this other person who comes from some other consultancy, the chances of getting your resume selected is more because you will have the Hello Work recommendation letter, whereas the other person will have not the Hello Work but the other recommendation letter. So you got my point. Hello Work is the best place to find a job. Yes, it is tedious, it takes a lot of time, so I will make another video on the entire Hello Work process for those people, especially in English, who have given up on Hello Work. But I also have a video on Hello Work in Hindi, so if you know Hindi and if you're interested, you can check out how to get a job in Japan. Yeah, so Hello Work is a place. I'm not telling you you will get a job at one go. You have to go and look for a job at least, like, that's why I tell you, start at least 3 to 4 months before, because you have to go for at least 4 to 5 interviews before you get a decent salary. So, and also those going for those interviews is not frustrating, it's just like you are learning how to give an interview, so that your final interview can be the best, and you can crack the interview. So it's important that you trust Hello Work, you trust the process, even if the old ladies and the old men over there who are working over there, or the young men who are working over there is taking time. Come on, man, any government organization takes time, and getting a good job is not a small process for Japanese. They think a lot before they join a job so that they can continue working in one company for their whole life, So in any company, the longer you stay, the more your salary goes up, and the more benefits you get, and the more promotions you get. So Japanese people think a lot before they join a company. That's why Hello Work also knows that they are of the same culture, they are Japanese. So you have to have patience and go to Hello Work time and time again, and take that pain to give 5 to 6 interviews before you get a decent job, and decide on which job you want to do for a longer time. Okay guys, so the next question is what kind of job to look for in Hello Work? What kind of job search can you do? Okay, because in Japan, it is possible that your major and your graduation is in one subject, but you're doing a completely different job in a different area, in a different field. Like I told you, your major is economics, you graduated in economics, but maybe you land up working in the maybe Universal Studios or Disney World. So you never know. It happens in Japan, so don't worry about your major. Just get a job if you're desperate for a work permit. Okay guys, so what else to search for when you go to Hello Work? Of course, you have to look for a permanent job. Say Shine, that's what we call them. Say Shine is a person as a staff of a company who pays a certain set of taxes which is deducted from her salary automatically every month. One is the pension plan, one is the health insurance, one is the city tax, and one is the unemployment insurance. This four taxes make up your Say Shine tax. So this will be deducted from your salary in the before the salary is handed over to you. And Say Shine is a permanent worker, so they also get paid leaves every year. Okay guys, now we come to the last step, that is the job interview. So say for example, you have been to Hello Work and you have got a company who is willing to sponsor your visa, and you have got your redirection, everything in place. And you know good Japanese, you can speak, you can type very well. But the cracking a job interview is very I shouldn't say tricky in Japan. It's a very standard process, and many people might have already chosen you by seeing your rickshaw. They just want to meet you and just finalize the thing, the image that they have about you. So that's most of the cases it's like that they already select you when they have the resume. So your rickshaw decides everything. So make sure you watch my video on how to write a impressive rickshaw. Those are the tips that I can give you through my experience. But anyway, say for example, you already found a company. Now you have been called for the interview. So you have to prepare, of course, before the interview, but also you have to start preparing on how to give the interview and how to convince your employer way beforehand. Like maybe when you come to Japan, the moment you start learning the language, you have to start practicing in front of the mirror. Or when you go for your part-time jobs, you have to start practicing how to give job interviews. So what happens normally in an interview? I will put up a video on how to crack an interview, of course, but I will just give you a summary. Normally they will keep your rickshaw in their hand, and they will ask you questions by looking at the rickshaw, like tell me your personal history, then tell me your job qualification, your educational qualification, and then what are your experiences, previous company experiences, work experiences, what are your hobbies, and then they will ask you what is your appeal point. So everything will be written in your rickshaw. You just have to learn up your rickshaw and tell them whatever they're looking at. Like they just want to reconfirm, that's it. Also, when it comes to the appeal point, there is a key. If you know you're going for a particular company for an interview, you check their website beforehand. You check thoroughly what kind of work the company does, exactly what happens inside the company. I'm sure every Japanese company, most of the Japanese companies have website. So you do your research, and then you have an answer ready to tell them that, you know, if they ask how can you contribute to a company, you should have the answer ready to give it to them, that, you know, I have this skill, so I can be of this help to you and that help to you, and I can also study hard and skill up so that I can be more help to you. Like this is your appeal point regarding that particular company. That is important. It shows how desperately you need the job. So that is one of the main points of getting a job interview, you know, of passing a job interview. And yeah, these things I will explain in a separate video in details. But anyway, say for example you cracked the job interview and your employer, he's ready to employ you. You know, if you have a Say Shine and your employer is willing to give you the papers, there are 3 or 4 sets of papers that you have to give to the immigration. So just call the immigration and ask them what are the papers that you need from the company, and they will tell you 1 2 3 4. Write it down, go to your employer, tell them that these are the papers I need. You don't need a lawyer to apply for your work permit, you know. Some people are so scared that they use a lawyer in the first work permit. It's not required actually. If your company is giving the papers to the immigration, whatever the immigration is asking for, you don't need a lawyer in between just to carry the papers from your hand to the immigration, and then from immigration to you. Just go, call the immigration, ask them what are the papers they need, and they will give you a list 1 2 3 4. Just go to your employer, tell them these are the papers I need for my work permit. Your employer will give you papers. In Japan are very easy to get because everything is so well organized. So your employers can give you all the things that they need, and you will get a set of papers. Just go to the immigration and apply, and then you wait for the visa. That's all you can do. The process of getting a job and convincing your employer to sponsor you for the work permit is difficult, and that is a long process, and it takes minimum 6 months. I'm still telling you 3 to 4 months in previously, but it takes minimum 6 months. I gathered my experiences of cracking a job interview, because if you see my previous videos, I have mentioned that I have changed almost 15 jobs in 2 years of my Japanese language school. So which means I have given more than 15 interviews. Obviously there were rejections in between. So that is how it was easy for me to crack job interviews, because I knew exactly what they're going to ask me. But when it comes to work permit, sometimes if you want a decent salary and you're going to a decent company and you have other people applying for the job, sometimes you have to be over the top to get the job. And if you can get a good job in the beginning, your life becomes smooth later on, you know. But if you just get the job just for the sake of work permit, and later the promotions, the benefits that come with it, it comes very, very late, but until you realize, like, it's very frustrating. So it's better that you start early and you know exactly what are the processes and what you should do to get the work permit. So watch my other videos on this series. Okay, all the best for your future interviews. People who have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing. I am really happy that you guys are liking my videos. Subscription means you are liking my videos, otherwise why would you subscribe? But thanks to all my loyal subscribers and people who are commenting. Stay tuned with my channel, and you will get lots of new things to experience through my eyes, through my lens. And what else can I say? Do share this video with everybody. If you have students, please share this video with all your friends, so that they also know how to get a work permit. And how to get a work permit is not just this video. There will be, like, you know, series of videos after this, so do check out. First one is how to get a job in Hello Work, and then second one is how to write a redirect show, and then the third one would be how to crack a job interview. And this video, all this will be a set of videos for how to get a work permit. Okay, so do watch those videos, and thank you so much. See you in my next videos. Bye bye.